Earlier today, I wrote a comment on my YouTube page about how I felt that Chinese pianos are simply 20-year pianos. And I also got a reply on my comment that said I was being unduly harsh for calling these pianos a 20-year piano. And so rather than writing a long and potentially confusing comment that explained my opinion, I figured I'd just make a YouTube video about it. And so here is that video. The three factors I look at when I'm looking at a Chinese piano and why I believe that they're only a 20-year piano is their tone, their construction, and the economics. How does the tone of a Chinese piano compare to anything else in today's market? And in my opinion, and I think many other people would say the same thing, it does not compare to a Homburg Steinway or a C. Bechstein or any other great piano manufacturer in the world today. And the reason for that is simply because they're not trying to be that. But the question is, how long will a piano like this last? If you don't like the tone of it today, what will the tone be tomorrow? It's not going to get any better. And even if you think that the tone of it is okay, it's not made to last as long as my 40-year-old Baldwin. This piano is very old. It's 40 years old for a piano. That's pretty old. And it still sounds pretty good. Yes, it's bright. Yes, it could use voicing. In fact, it could even use new hammers. But for a 40-year-old piano that I've played very hard for the last few years, it's aged very well, I'd say. A Chinese piano that I put through the same, that I practiced 5 hours a day on every day for the past few years, it wouldn't hold together this well. They're just simply not made for that. These pianos are made for the inexpensive market, they're made for the entry-level market, and so for that reason they use inexpensive hammers, they probably use inexpensive actions, they use cheaper woods because they're easier to obtain and easier to work with, and overall they're going to be cheaper. And while this is good because you can only spend $6,000, $7,000 on your piano, it's not going to last 40 years, and if it does, it's not going to be in very good shape at the end of those 40 years. The piano that I'm sitting behind is a Baldwin SF-10 from 1977, and it's 40 years old. And because of this, and because I've played it very hard over the last few years, it needs new things. The action needs to be gone through, it needs new bass strings, and it needs new hammers. And I was quoted a price of around $6,000 to $10,000 to get this fixed, and get everything into proper working order again. And I was thinking, I could spend, say $8,000 getting the piano work done, but then I really wouldn't know how it turned out until I paid the money and played it again. Maybe the action wasn't how I wanted, or maybe it wasn't voiced the way I wanted it to be. And then I'd have to pay more money getting it fixed. Or I could have paid slightly more money and bought an entirely different piano that was the way I liked it, and that is what I did. But what I'm trying to point out here is that my Baldwin SF-10 really deserves to have this work done. It is a great piano. It was a great piano when it was new. They're famous for being extremely durable and being able to withstand a whole lot of wear. They're kind of like army tanks. You kind of can't kill them. But while the Baldwin SF-10, if you worked on it again, would become a great piano again, would a Chinese piano, such as perhaps even a Chinese Baldwin like the ones that are made today, would it be worthy of being rebuilt in 20 years after being played heavily? And the answer is probably no. The tone wouldn't be there, the construction really, who knows how it would stand up. And would you want to spend $6,000 or even more 20 years from now on a piano that cost $6,000 to $10,000 when it was new? You really wouldn't. And that is the economics behind a Chinese piano, and why I say that they're a 20-year piano.